Hi everyone, Raquel Forsgren here. We're talking about the concept of tenacity within the context of building resilience. There are three elements to building tenacity. The first is perseverance. The second is realistic optimism. And the third is managing our mistakes. So let's talk about each one separately for just a moment. So the first one, perseverance. Another big buzzword right now. Perseverance is about bouncing back despite what's coming at us. The second part around it is learning from our successes and our experiences, being curious about them. The third is, in my opinion, that perseverance is even more important than intelligence when it comes to our successes, because we all face setback, we all face failures, we all face mistakes. And if we don't push through them and learn from them, it hinders everything that we do. So the second concept, realistic optimism. This one's always been a challenge for me. Those of you that have worked with me on the corporate side know that I tend to be almost on the Pollyanna end of the spectrum. And I've really had to work on myself to be a realistic optimist where I can look at the potential failures or mistakes, where I can look at something going wrong, a strategy not working. And what I realized is if I'm overly optimistic or overly pessimistic, which is rare, both impact my motivation. So the key is finding what feels right for you, but it's about realism. If you look at everything as it's going to go wrong, inherently it's going to go wrong because you're expecting it to. On the flip side, if you expect things to go right, that same thing happens. So find that balance for yourself and explore what that means. Maybe pay attention to your attitude for the day or the week and see what happens. And the last concept is about managing our mistakes. I make them every week. I go into a patient room at one of the hospitals I work in and walk out thinking, why did I teach them that breathing technique when they were obviously in pain and maybe I should have taken this approach? Or going into a meeting and then beating myself up afterward thinking, did they understand? Did they connect? Do they understand resilience? Are they judging mind body? There's a whole host of different things that happen around managing our own mindsets and our mistakes. So I encourage you to look at them being curious, really, really curious to understand, was it truly a mistake? Was it just perfectionism? Or was it something in between? So ending today, join me with this practice. This is something that you can do every day, throughout the day. It takes just a few moments. And I would encourage you to do it, particularly when you're beating yourself up. Because I guarantee you that if you were helping a friend, a coworker, a colleague, and they had just done the same thing, my sense is you wouldn't tell them it was a mistake. You would help them figure out what went right and what they could do better, and that's probably how you'd even frame it to them. So let's try that practice on ourselves. So wherever you are, whether you're sitting or standing, just sit up nice and tall or stand nice and tall, feeling your feet, closing your eyes, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your jaw. Tune in with your breathing as we always do. Visualize and let come to mind something that you thought you did in the last week that you would categorize as a mistake. Bring it to mind. What you did, what you said, maybe even how it felt. Can you find how it felt in your physical body, either during whatever you were doing or afterward when you had identified it as a mistake? Notice how it feels. Where in your physical body you're feeling it. Your chest, your throat, your belly. Now ask yourself what went well. What do you think you did right in that situation? What would you do differently? Why do you think you handled it the way you did? Breathe into that space where you feel it in your physical body right now. Visualize something coming up in the next week, maybe even today, that you need to handle that's a similar situation. Visualize yourself handling it the way you want to handle it, what you've learned and how to handle it. Could be how you dealt with a patient, could be how you dealt with a spouse or a child or anything. Breathe into that space in your physical body when you visualize yourself handling it the way you want to show up. Notice your breathing right in this moment, as we always do, noticing if it's changed, our continual progress on self-awareness and self-love, checking in with our breath. And softly blink open your eyes. Thanks for listening, and just give this a try today, and I'll be back with you very soon.